This stock is up more than 400% in just 6 months. This stock is up more than 400% in just 6 months. Not Nvidia, not Tesla, not one of those hyped up AI names you keep seeing on your feed. I'm talking about Supermicro Computer, or SMCI, a company that went from being almost invisible to becoming one of the fastest growing players in the entire AI hardware space. And somehow, almost nobody's talking about it. Today, we're breaking down how this stock skyrocketed, why it happened so fast, and whether it's still worth paying attention to. Because this story reveals a much bigger truth about how to spot opportunities before the crowd does. If you've been following the AI boom, you've heard the same names on repeat. Nvidia makes the chips. Microsoft funds OpenAI. Tesla's using AI for cars. But here's the real question. Who's actually building the infrastructure that makes all of this possible? That's where Supermicro Computer comes in. They build custom high-performance servers for data centers, the literal backbone of the AI industry. Every time a company like OpenAI, Anthropic, or Meta trains a massive AI model, they rely on thousands of specialized servers to handle that load. And Supermicro is the company quietly delivering a lot of that hardware. While everyone's chasing the companies using AI, Supermicro is selling the tools they need to run it. It's one of the oldest investing principles in the book. When there's a gold rush, you don't need to find gold, you sell the shovels. Now, what makes this story so fascinating isn't just that the stock exploded, it's how suddenly it happened. For years, Supermicro was a solid but boring business. They weren't a meme stock, they weren't a startup. They were a quiet player in the data center industry, making dependable equipment for other companies' growth. And then, AI happened. Almost overnight, demand for high-performance computing went vertical. Every major tech firm wanted to train models, run inference at scale, and expand their infrastructure. But there was a problem. Most companies weren't ready. They didn't have systems designed for NVIDIA's new generation of GPUs. They didn't have the cooling or energy efficiency to handle that kind of computational load. And they definitely couldn't scale fast enough. Supermicro already could. They'd been building modular, flexible systems optimized for exactly that. High-performance AI and cloud workloads. Their supply chain was ready, their relationships with NVIDIA were established, and their product line was designed for fast customization. Their timing couldn't have been better. As AI adoption exploded, Supermicro's revenue exploded with it. In a single year, sales jumped over 200%. Profits tripled. And when those financials hit the market, investors finally noticed. The stock went from under $100 to over $400 in just 6 months. And the wildest part? They didn't even try to hype it. No overproduced promo videos, no buzzword-filled press releases, no empty promises about revolutionizing the future of AI. They just quietly executed and delivered. But despite that run, most investors still haven't heard of them. And that's the crazy part, because Supermicro isn't some speculative moonshot. It's profitable, growing like crazy, and playing in one of the most important markets of the next decade. So why isn't everyone talking about it? Simple, it's not sexy. Supermicro doesn't make chatbots, they don't make robots or self-driving cars, they make the boring stuff, racks, cooling systems, and servers. The invisible infrastructure that sits in the background while the flashy companies take the spotlight. But here's the thing, the boring companies often make the most money. Let's look at history. During the smartphone boom, everyone was obsessed with Apple and Samsung. But who actually powered their devices? Companies like TSMC, quietly manufacturing the chips inside every iPhone. Their stock went up over 1,000%. During the semiconductor boom, ASML, a company that makes the machines used to make chips, became one of the most important tech firms on Earth. These weren't the household names everyone talked about, but they were the enablers that made the revolution possible. Supermicro is following that same playbook for the AI era. Now, before you go loading up your brokerage account, let's slow down, because no stock climbs 400% without risk. First, when growth happens that fast, expectations become almost impossible to meet. Even if a company delivers strong results, if they're not perfect, the stock can tumble. Second, their business is cyclical. Server demand tends to move in waves. When AI spending cools off, and it will at some point, orders can dry up just as quickly as they ramped up. Third, competition is heating up fast. Big names like Dell, HP, and Lenovo are all ramping up their AI-optimized infrastructure offerings. Even Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are designing their own internal hardware solutions for their cloud platforms. That means Supermicro has to keep innovating, keep improving efficiency, and keep scaling to protect their lead. So yes, they're executing incredibly well, but they're not invincible. The bigger question is, how big is this AI wave, really? Because if you zoom out, this isn't just about one stock. It's about an industrial scale transformation happening behind the scenes. Right now, companies are investing billions into AI infrastructure. The computing power, cooling, and energy needed to make AI models run faster and more efficiently. To put it in perspective, training GPT-4 reportedly required tens of thousands of GPUs and enormous power consumption. The next generation of models could use millions. That's not just a software story, it's a hardware story. It's a data center story, and that's where companies like Supermicro come in. They're literally building the foundation of this next technological era. Think about it this way. NVIDIA sells the chips, But without companies like Supermicro integrating those chips into scalable, energy-efficient systems, AI can't grow. Every breakthrough model you hear about depends on this hidden layer of infrastructure. That's why, even if you're not investing directly in SMCI, this story is worth studying. It shows where real value is being created, beneath the surface. There's also a psychological lesson here. When investors hear about the next big thing, whether it's AI, crypto, or clean energy, their instinct is to chase the headline companies. The ones with the biggest marketing budgets or the flashiest CEOs. But history shows that the biggest returns often come from the companies building the tools, not the trends. Think of it as infrastructure investing. When an industry changes the world, the enablers usually win first. During the California gold rush, most prospectors lost money. The people who sold them picks, shovels, tents, and jeans, people like Levi Strauss, built generational wealth. That same logic applies today. AI might transform every industry, but the ones providing the computing, energy, and infrastructure to make it work are positioned for the most consistent, long-term growth. Supermicro didn't go viral, it executed. And sometimes that's all it takes. So is it still a buy after that massive run-up? That depends on what you believe about AI's future. If you think AI model training, edge computing, and data center expansion are still in their early stages, then yes, companies like Supermicro could still have years of growth ahead. Remember, we're at the beginning of a global AI arms race. Every country, every major corporation, and every cloud provider is scrambling to scale up their computing infrastructure. That demand isn't going away overnight. But if you think the hype has peaked, if you believe AI adoption will slow down or plateau, then maybe it's smarter to wait for a pullback before jumping in. Either way, the lesson is the same. AI isn't just about the algorithms. It's about the infrastructure that powers them. And those who understand that ecosystem early as the servers, chips, cooling, networking, and logistics behind it all, will have the best shot at spotting the next big winners before they hit the headlines. In conclusion, Supermicro's 400% rise isn't just a wild chart. It's a signal. It tells us that the market is waking up to a deeper truth, that the companies quietly enabling revolutions are often the ones with the biggest long-term potential. Whether it's AI, renewable energy, electric vehicles, or biotech, the companies building the foundation of progress will always be there, powering everything else forward. And most people won't notice them until it's too late. So the next time you see a big tech headline, don't just ask who's in the spotlight, ask who's making this possible. Because those are the names that quietly 5x, 10x, or even 20x before anyone outside the industry catches on. Supermicro just proved that. And the next one might already be out there, building the next layer of the future while everyone else is still looking at the surface. If you want to learn how to find those kinds of companies early, I break down 3 more hidden players in the AI infrastructure space in my next video. You'll find it linked right here on screen and down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, invest smart, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, invest smart, and I'll see you in the next one.